good morning to all my dear students. How are you all? All are fine. Very good. Today we are going to start a new section, Language Across Curriculum. In this, we are going to study about the origin of numbers. Are you curious to know about the origin of numbers? What are the numbers you know? Yes, very good. Natural numbers, whole numbers, rational numbers, irrational numbers, etc. Today we are going to study about the origin of these numbers. I will show one video you need to watch and I will ask some questions. Just watch the video.
The number system. Today we are going to learn about natural numbers, whole numbers, integers, rational and irrational numbers. So let's jump right in. A long time ago, man uses finger or marking on bones for counting and later devised various symbols or figure for each number, while in those times, man normally counted the animal killed and ate. Several thousand years later, man still counting, although mostly money. Counting comes us naturally, something that goes 1, 2, 3, 4 and so on. Hence, such numbers are grouped as natural numbers with the symbol n. Well, you may be rich one day, but there are days when you are flat broke with no money left. So many come to describe a notion of nothing number 0 was discovered. When we did add the number 0 to the set of natural numbers, we get what is called as the whole numbers. Symbol W. In most circumstances, these are the number we deal with. Nothing more and nothing less, except of course certain situation proves this to be not true. For example, when you have to measure the depth of ship below sea level, when the temperature drops to sub-zero underway the chilly condition, and of course when you owe money to the bank. In all such cases, the number are called as negative number, which when clubbed together with whole numbers, formally you grouped called integers, strangely denoted by letter Z. So far so good. However, there are situations when you require to deal with parts of whole or fractions as they are called. For example, parts of pizza, measuring height of more accurately, in this case 1.5 meter, calculating the fraction of difference of time in a very close race, specifies measure of ingredients in a cake's recipe and so on. So any and every number that you can practically think of, any number in real world which can be denoted as a fraction or in a decimal form, constitute as what is called real numbers. Expertise symbol R. Now take any integer, say -4. This number can be denoted as a fraction, namely -4 by 1. So all integers are real number too, as obviously are the whole numbers and the natural number as well. Here are some examples of real numbers. On the number line, we have 3 by 2, which is 1.5, minus 1 by 3, which is 0.3333. Just keep repeating the decimal digit. The number 6 and 18 by 5, etc. Now, most of real decimal numbers can be expressed as form of ratio. What is meant by this is that the number can be returned as the ratio of two integers. Of course, denominator cannot be 0. For example, 0.4 can be written as ratio 2 by 5. Minus 0.375 is minus 3 by 8. Also, 2.33, where decimal 3 repeating forever can be expressed as 7 by 3. So the number can be expressed as the ratio of integers, where the decimal terminate or repeat are called rational numbers. On the other hand, there are some number that are irrational or not rational. Try dividing circumference of circle by diameter. The answer reads something like, and it goes on forever. The calculation never terminates, nor shows any repeating pattern of any sort. This is the number pi, also written as 22 by 7. But this ratio is just an approximation, not accurate. Another example of irrational number is under root 2, which is the length of the diagonal square of size 1 unit. But this number also does not terminate, nor do its decimal repeat certain pattern. Numbers like these are irrational numbers, which have many applications in the real world, by the way. Example being calculating area or volume of shapes that involve circle. Encryption algorithm. There are in compound interests on loans by banks, etc. So number that cannot be represented as ratio of integers and well decimals do not terminate nor show any repeating pattern are called irrational numbers. Both rational and irrational numbers form real number, as can you see.
All of you watched that video? Is it interesting? Next, I will show one picture. You need to identify different types of numbers in that picture. Just look at this picture. What did you understand from that picture? I will explain that picture. First, it is given that natural numbers. What is that natural numbers? First, it is given that natural numbers. Natural numbers are counting numbers. Counting numbers are called natural numbers. Example 1, 2, 3, etc. Next, what we understand? Yes, what is the next type of number? Whole numbers. What are the examples of whole numbers? 0, 1, 2, 3, etc. What is the peculiarity of whole number? Counting numbers along with 0 is called whole numbers. What is the next type of number? Yes, very good. Integers. This is the example of integers. Negative numbers, 0 and positive numbers are called integers. Clear? What is the next number? Yes, rational numbers. What do you mean by rational numbers? The numbers written in the form of p by q where q not equal to 0. That is called rational numbers. Example, these are rational numbers. I will explain one more time. First type of number is natural numbers. They are called counting numbers like 1, 2, 3, etc. Next type of numbers is whole numbers. Natural numbers along with 0 is called whole numbers. Next type of number is integers, that is negative numbers, 0 and positive numbers are called integers. Next is rational number, that is numbers which can be written in the form p by q where q not equal to 0. Next is irrational number. What is irrational number? Numbers which cannot be written in the form p by q where q not equal to 0. What we can conclude from this? We understand that the full number is called real numbers. That real number is divided into two types. What is that? Rational and irrational. Then rational number is then just classified into what? Yes, rational numbers is just classified into integers. In that integer we can classify as whole numbers. Whole numbers can be further classified as natural numbers. Clear? Any doubt? Okay. Next, I will read the passage. You need to listen carefully. Origin of numbers. Measure everything and make it a number. Through such numbers and relations between them, try to understand the world. This is the basic function of mathematics. Depending on the nature of the things measured, different kinds of numbers need to be created. During the age when man gathered food directly from nature, they needed numbers only for counting. The number of men in a group, the number of cattle in a herd, and so on. In other words, only natural numbers were needed at that time. Later, around 5000 BC, as men settled along river banks and started large-scale agriculture, they needed to measure all kinds of length and area to mark land and build houses. The concept of fraction arose in this period. New numbers were needed when it was realized that not all measurements could be expressed as fractions. Still later, other kinds of numbers like negative numbers and complex numbers were created for mathematical convenience rather than physical necessities. That such numbers were also found useful in science like physics is another matter. Did you listen to the passage? All of you listen? Very good. Now I will ask some questions you need to answer. Which is the basic function of mathematics? What are the uses of fraction in around 5000 BC? Which is the last type of numbers created for mathematical convenience? Next, we can move to our grammar section. Here, we are going to study about article. What do you mean by article? Did you hear this word article? Article is a word that defines a noun to be specific or unspecific. What is article? Article is a word that defines a noun to be specific or unspecific. For example, I saw an accident. In which is that article? Very good. And the movie is excellent. Which is that article? The. The common articles are a and the. Clear? What is an article? Article is a word that defines noun to be specific or unspecific. Clear? Now you have an activity to do. Just write a paragraph about a word without numbers. Just do a word without number. It is the heading. You need to write a paragraph about a word without number. So what we can conclude from this portion is men created numbers for counting or in general for measuring quantities. We can use numbers in our day-to-day life like for date, time, year, then for passwords, for phone numbers, etc. Organization of number help us to make our life easier. Understand? Can we wind up our class? You have an homework. You need to write an article about numbers. So students, thank you. Have a nice day.